Alright, I am draining the coolant from the radiator so that I can eventually remove it. I don't know if you can see the coolant dripping through there, but there is a little shield you gotta take off to be able to have it drip down into that bucket. And then once I remove the radiator, that'll ensure that I don't nick it when I'm using an air impact wrench to pull off some of this stuff. Alright, I've removed the fan shroud, and there's a plastic bottom part to this fan shroud that just kind of clips in. There are two clips that you got to push on each side to make it pop out properly. Then it should just slide out so that you can pull out the fan shroud with the fan still on the car. It gives you that gap at the bottom. There are two bolts that were right here that hold it together. Those are 10 mil, and that fits in. There's some light. You can see the fan still on the unit, and I had to disconnect the coolant reservoir there. Again, that was a 10 mil. Alright, so when I started taking off some of the hoses attached to the radiator, they've got some automatic transmission fluid cooler lines, I guess. And so I didn't have anything to plug them up with, so I just took some plastic that I had from the plastic around the new timing belt cover and some zip ties and plugged the lines that way so there aren't leaking fluid and getting dust or gunk in there when I pull it out. Alright, so the fan is held on by 4 10mm bolts there. It's got a little clutch on it. Once you get that out, you got a little bit more space to work with. And pulled off that radiator hose there. I'll replace that. I'll also have to take off this hose here to gain access to everything else in there. I'll replace that hose as well, and that should be attached to, I believe, the thermostat, and replace that while I'm down there. Alright, so I removed the radiator from the space there. So there's a lot more working room in there. And so I got the hose attached there still. I got the transmission cooler lines right there and right there. But when I pulled this sucker out, I heard a bunch of stuff falling and I thought I messed something up. Look at all that dirt. Yeah, so I'll be blowing this thing out with my air compressor before I put it back in. Alright, on to the next. Alright, so now I'm going to take off the drive belts. And this bolt right here is a 14 mil, so you're going to want to loosen that, and then loosen this, loosen the nut, and then loosen the bolts up top, which will allow you to pull that one off on the idler pulley. And then there are other bolts that you're going to have to loosen to pull off other drive belts. And those are going to be on, let me pull this camera off so I can show you guys. So like on the alternator down there, you can see you're gonna want to loosen that and that one right there so you can move the alternator and loosen that belt off, as well as the belt for this right here. There should be. I'll show you guys after I get the first two off. Alright, so on this part, you're going to want to take off the alternator belt. And so you're going to need a 12mm socket. And you're going to pull off, loosen that bolt there. Then you're going to want to loosen this bolt here as well. This is like the pivot point for the alternator. And then as you loosen that bolt there, you'll be able to move your alternator back and forth so you can loosen it up and pull this belt off here. And then mark that belt accordingly. Alright, so on this belt here, you've got an idler pulley, just like the first one. But you're gonna need to loosen up that nut and then pull off the sensors so you don't hit anything. Use a 14mm socket to get, let me see if I can get that right through here. If you come down, there's a bolt that you will be able to access. Oh, let's see. You'll be able to access right there. Loosen that, and that bolt will just, or that belt will just roll right off. And then I've been marking these belts because I'll be using them again, because I replaced those maybe 6 months ago and they're still good. They don't have any cracks on them. And so I'm labeling them as I've taken them off, number 1, 2, and 3. And so when I put them back on, I'll put the third one on first, second one on second, and then the first one on last. Alright, so next I'm going to pull off this bracket here. And these are 12mm. Pull that off. Pull this off, pull this part off, so we can get to the timing belt cover and get to pulling off some things and getting the engine to top dead center. Alright, so I'm taking off this bracket here with a 12mm. Pop this straight pipe off. Pull this coolant hose off, which will gain me access to that thermostat there. And then you got your water pump here, which you can't see, I don't think. But yeah, so we're gonna get this off with the 12mm. And as I remove the bolts and pull these brackets off, I'm going to put those bolts back so I don't lose them in their place. That's fine. Where's the next one? There's one more bolt at the very bottom here. Right down here. I don't know if you can see that. Let me adjust the camera a little more. Be able to pull it off. I'm going to loosen this clamp Alright guys, I got a better view there. So I got that screwed off and down, and now it's just getting this to wiggle off like that. Now I'm going to be replacing these hoses because shoot, I'm taking them off, might as well, right? These hoses are probably still good. They got a little life left in them. But this is the kind of job you only want to do once. Alright, so now pulling off this last bolt down here. And then this bracket and idler pulley will come off. Alright, like so. Then I'm going to put back the bolts so I don't lose them, don't lose their spot. And then you're going to have one nut that goes on this one here. You're going to want to make sure you don't lose that. That's on there. I've got 3 more bolts that I got to find where they went. One more. Where did I pull you off? I'll be back when I find it. Alright, so that last one that I couldn't find actually goes into the bracket where the 2 brackets meet up and join. Alright, so next I unclipped this wiring harness. I've got these plastic clips here that fit into a little metal bracket, and I just used some pliers that I had to pinch the clips so that they would disconnect, and then I'm going to probably pop off those connectors right there, and then probably pull off these hoses right there, just so I can pull off this timing belt cover. I'll pull that hose off as well. Alright, so I'm going to be pulling off these breather hoses here, so I can get that timing cover off. So let's see what size. Looks like those are 10 mil bolts right here and here. So let's pull those off right quick. Grab my pliers. Stubborn. Alright, it might be easier just to disconnect it right here. Just give it a twist. Stubborn. Use a little more. All right, so this piece is a bigger pain in the butt than it should have been. So that came off. Let's see. How's that in there? Like that. And so popping off that, just make sure that you get this clip right here up and over that bend, or it'll just hold that tension real tight. And then this clip here is connected to this part right here, which connects to that part right there. And so make sure you get those connections off so you can pull the whole thing out. And set that aside. And now we'll get to tackling the timing belt cover.